me ask you something, and be honest. When was the last time you made a decision that scared you, but did it anyway? Not something comfortable, not something logical. I mean something that had real risk, that made your hands shake, that could have made you look stupid. Never. Then congratulations. You've just discovered the first sign that you'll never be rich. Because while you chase safety, rich people chase friction. While you wait for confidence, they act despite fear. And while you delay, overthink, and wait for the perfect moment, they build empires on imperfect, uncomfortable actions. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Napoleon Hill. But you confuse desire with dreams. You hope, you visualize, but you don't decide. You scroll, you imagine, but you don't act. And here's the punch in the face. If you need to feel ready, you're already late. Nobody rich ever felt ready. They just felt desperate enough to stop being average. They hated their situation more than they feared the unknown. You don't need a plan. You need disgust. You need to be so sick of your own excuses that silence becomes unbearable. And until that moment arrives, you'll stay exactly where you are. Now picture this. A man walks into a room full of opportunities, but each one demands risk. He looks around, hands in pockets, heart racing. He says, "Let me wait and think." And by the time he decides, the room is empty. That man is you. And the room? That was your last 5 years. How many times did you have a chance to invest in you, but backed off? How many times did you start something and sabotage yourself halfway? The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. Napoleon Hill. But first, he has to start. And most people, they never do. They wait for motivation, for alignment, for the stars to send a sign. Here's your sign. You've been lying to yourself. Lying every time you say, "Next year I'll focus." Lying every time you say, "I just need a little more time." Lying every time you say, "It's not the right season yet." Let me tell you a secret. Rich people don't ask for permission. They move, they lose, they adjust, they keep moving. And that relentless momentum, that's what separates the ones who talk about success from those who own it. Now here's the twist that'll hurt. You already had everything you needed. Not money, not tools, but the spark. That little voice that whispered, "Do it now." And every time you ignored it, you killed your momentum. You silenced your future. Every adversity, every failure, every heartbreak carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill. But if you never face adversity, how will the seed ever be planted? You're not broke because of your bank account. You're broke because you hesitate. Hesitation is the tax poor people pay for pretending to be careful. Now breathe. Feel this next sentence like a slap. If you were serious, you'd be rich by now. That's the truth your ego doesn't want to hear. And this is just the beginning. Here's what they'll never teach you in school. Rich people think like assassins, calculated, cold, no excuses. They don't waste time on blame, gossip, or emotional pity parties. They obsess over cause and effect. And every choice they make is filtered by one brutal question. Does this get me closer or not? Poor minds ask, is this fair? Rich minds ask, is this effective? And right there is the gap that swallows entire generations. Success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. Napoleon Hill. Read that again, because the world you were raised in taught you the opposite. They taught you to be polite, to not stand out too much, to stay in your lane, to wait your turn. But rich people don't wait. They disrupt, they build the lane, and then they charge others to use it. The mindset of wealth is violent, but precise. It's not about hurting others. It's about eliminating every weak thought that dares to whisper, maybe later. Let's go deeper. Rich people don't love money. They love control. Control over time, control over options, control over how they live and die. And if you're still trading hours for survival, still praying for the weekend, you don't control anything. The ladder of success is never crowded at the top. Napoleon Hill. Because up there, only the killers of indecision climb. The ones who decided that average is not an option. So let me ask you something. Have you decided, or are you just interested? There's a world of difference. Interested people make excuses. Committed people make moves. Poor minds debate. rich minds execute. And every time you open YouTube to learn a little more, but never apply, you widen the gap. You fuel the illusion of progress. And worse, you feed your own procrastination with just enough dopamine to stay stuck. Let that hit. You want the mindset of the rich? Here it is, raw and unfiltered. If it fails, I learn. If it works, I scale. Either way, I win. Comfort is the enemy. Pressure is my fuel. Nobody's coming to save me, and that's my greatest freedom. And when you operate like that, you stop needing motivation. You wake up hungry, you breathe urgency, and that urgency becomes your identity. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. Napoleon Hill. But what do most people do? They wait. For a coach, for validation, for permission, for their wife to believe in them, for the economy to be better. But let me tell you what rich people wait for. Absolutely nothing. They act, they break things, they fix them, and they keep moving. Relentlessly, stubbornly, with blood in his eyes. This is not motivational, this is reality. And until you accept it, you'll be just another spectator in the stands, watching players richer, smarter, and more committed than you win the game you were too afraid to play. Let's break the illusion. Success is not about luck. It's not about talent. It's not even about timing. It's about repetition. Repeat until it hurts. Repeat until it becomes truth. Repeat until the universe understands you won't stop. Any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. Napoleon Hill. That's not poetry. That's programming. And Hill had a name for this programming. He called it auto-suggestion. Every day Hill would speak out loud his future, with specifics, with urgency, with conviction. Not just, I want to be rich, but I will have $1,000 in cash by exact date, and I will earn it by giving massive value to others through specific activity. That's not manifesting. That's mental engineering. It wires the brain to seek, filter, and attack opportunities. Because what you repetitively affirm, your brain relentlessly pursues. But what do you repeat every day? I'm tired. It's hard. I don't have time. I'll try next month. Your mouth is writing your financial future, one excuse at a time. And that's why you're losing. Not because of the government, not because of your family, but because the story you keep telling yourself is a failure fairy tale. Let me give you Hill's ritual, word for word. And if you ignore this, you might as well close this video now. But if you apply it daily for the next 30 days, your mind will never be the same. Here it is. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. Repeat that daily, out loud, with your chest open, with your eyes locked in the mirror, and do it like your future depends on it, because it does. That's not hype. It's neurological warfare. You're either programming your mind or being programmed by society. More gold has been mined from the minds of men than has ever been taken from the earth. Napoleon Hill. So let me ask you, are you mining your mind or burying it? You want the protocol of a millionaire mind? Here it is, no fluff. 1. Decide exactly what you want. 2. Set a deadline that scares you. 3. Declare it every single day. 4. Act even when it feels stupid. 5. Repeat until the world bends. And guess what? It will. Because the world bows to the mind that refuses to break. That's the secret. That's the protocol. And it's not for everyone. It's for the obsessed, the disturbed, the sick and tired of being average. So if you're still watching this, maybe, just maybe, there's a fire waking up inside you. But don't trust the fire. Test it. Feed it. Weaponize it. Because in the next few minutes, I'll show you how to activate this ritual in your real life. Even if you're broke, alone, and lost. But only if you're ready to confront the truth. Enough theory. Enough reflection. Let's talk execution. Because thinking like a millionaire doesn't make you rich. Acting like one does. So here's your first mission. And no, it's not optional. Step 1. Write your definite purpose in one sentence. Not a wish, not a hope, a decision. I will create a digital business that generates 10,000 a month until date. It must be clear, it must feel real, and it must make your stomach twist a little. Step 2. Every morning, before checking your phone, before coffee, before the world infects you, read that sentence out loud, twice, like your life depends on it, because it does. You become what you think about all day long. Napoleon Hill. And most people think about distractions, complaints, and regrets. You're about to change that, permanently. Step 3. Take one uncomfortable action daily. That's right. One task that scares you, annoys you, or forces growth. Send the pitch. Record the video. Invest the money. Burn the excuse. Action is the real measure of intelligence. Napoleon Hill. Not knowledge, not intention. Action. If you don't sweat a little, if you don't feel fear knocking at your ribs, you're not growing, you're performing. And performance without pressure is poverty in disguise. Step 4. Track your moves. Napoleon Hill called this accurate thinking, not vague feelings, not hopes. Track what you did, what worked, what failed, what needs to go harder tomorrow. Poor people operate by emotion. Rich people operate by data. Every single millionaire knows their numbers, their time, their leverage. Do you? Step 5. Cut the noise. Kill distractions. Mute people who don't believe. Turn off content that keeps you comfortable. Comfort is killing you slowly, and you're calling it relaxing. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Let that land. Let it burn. Now listen carefully. This protocol is not for dabblers, not for those who try it for a week. This is war, mental warfare, and if you treat it like a game, you'll end up watching others win, while you clap from the sidelines of your own wasted potential. So here's the final test. Will you do it? Will you actually wake up tomorrow and start programming your mind with power, purpose, and pressure? Or will you go back to scrolling, back to wishing, back to poverty disguised as peace? This moment is the split in the road. You either apply, or you disappear. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand. Napoleon Hill. Let's not pretend you didn't feel it. Somewhere between those sentences, you remembered the moment you hesitated, that opportunity you killed, that dream you buried, that version of you that still whispers, late at night, you were meant for more. And maybe this is the last warning you'll ever get. Because if this doesn't move you, what will? Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Napoleon Hill. But you'll never find out if you never take that step. And here's what most won't tell you. You don't need a miracle. You don't need luck. You need a moment. One moment of madness. One decision made with the fire of revolt in your chest. And from that decision comes everything. So stop calling it difficult. Start calling it necessary. Stop asking how. Start declaring I will. Because the truth is, nobody's coming. Nobody owes you. Nobody will remember you if you keep hiding. But you can change that. Right now. Today. With one sentence. I will no longer tolerate a life below my potential. Say it out loud. Type it in the comments. And let the world hear your decision echo. Not because it sounds good, but because it hurts to admit it's true. And pain is fuel. You've just unlocked the first protocol, the signal, the truth, the slap. Now comes the second layer, the mindset of those who built wealth while others watched. How they think, how they breathe, how they win, while the world sleeps. If you're ready to go deeper, the next episode will strip your illusions bare. But here's the warning. Once you see the next truth, there's no going back. Next up, what no one teaches you about how the rich think. Click it, or stay where you are. But if you're serious, you already know the answer. And before you leave, subscribe to the channel right now. This is just the first protocol. The next ones will destroy your illusions even deeper. If this video made you uncomfortable, share it with someone else who needs to wake up. Because sometimes, one slap is all it takes to break a lifetime of mental chains.